Hello, back again. So we're going to go with something that's really old school here. We're going to cook some deer meat on a rock. The only thing is that rock is a salt block, so we got to get it preheated, and then I'll show you the process. I guess it started somewhere in the 1600s or something that I read on Google. We all know how that goes, but here's what it looks like right now. We got the salt block on the barbecue, and we're going to run it for about 20 minutes just to make sure it's good and hot and up to the temp of the barbecue, because you cook on the rock. So let's check it out. So there it is, heating up. You can see all the moisture bubbling out of it. Hopefully that all comes out and the rock doesn't crack, but that's just the moisture it draws from heating, so you got to make sure that's all out of there before you start cooking on it. So here I am checking on this thing again. I just looked and it was about 500 degrees. So we should be approaching that, but you can see there's still a little moisture bubbling on it. I was told it shouldn't be bubbling moisture. So we're going to let this thing preheat a little more before we drop our food on it, just to make sure. But man, I tell you, this is one of the easiest and coolest things to do. We'll check the temperature here in a second. Looks like we're at a solid 500. Let's look and see what that salt block looks like. Oh yeah, everything's dried up. So we're gonna drop a little oil on this, a little olive oil, and drop our steaks on there. All right, this is how I do this. A little bit of olive oil. Then I have some garlic and some onions. Put them on there, you see them sizzling away already. Put your little garlic in there. Whoops, missed. We're not going back for that one. So you get them going a little bit, and then you take your deer steak, drop it right on top. These are round steaks off of the deer that you saw in the video that Randy had hauled out. And then here, the little lemon pepper seasoning. It's actually just the stuff from Trader Joe's. Obviously you don't need salt. So we'll let that cook for about 5 minutes. We'll flip it and put some vegetables on, and next thing you know, dinner's be done. Okay, now we're gonna flip these bad boys. Well, actually girl, because the dough that Randy shot, like I said. Get our little onions and our garlics, and we'll kind of put them over to the side. Add our asparagus. We'll give it a little bit of olive oil. And we'll let this cook for about another 3 or 4 minutes, and then we'll bring it in. And there's our finished product. Everything, I'm sure, is cooked to perfection. We'll just roll the asparagus around when we get inside. But that's what it looks like cooking on a rock or a salt block. So we'll get this inside and check it out. So I'm going to flip the asparagus just to get both sides good and done, because this will hold some heat for a while. Everybody gets all worked up. They're like, oh my god, the salt block, it's got to be so salty. It's only as salty as how much water you put on it. If you put oil on it, it doesn't have a lot. So that's why you put the onions on, because they'll draw the moisture and the salt to put on your steak. And let me open one of these up. I'll show you how well it cooks. Because the worst thing you can do is overcook your deer. So that is medium, but it's still juicy. Finished product, there it is. Round steak, onions, asparagus, and rice. You can see our little salt block is still sizzling a little bit. When it cools down, you just rinse it off with a little cold water and store it again. Try and keep it cool and dry. Thanks for watching. Hit the like and subscribe. See you soon.
I would like to take the time to thank my wife's deer for being the true star of this show. You really shined tonight.